today for this welterweight fight. 31-year-old Ebersole against 28-year-old James Head. Everything else is virtually identical. With the introductions, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist, holding professional record, 8 wins, 2 losses. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, James Head. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist, holding professional record, 50 wins, 14 losses, 1 draw, 1 no contest. He stands 6 feet tall, weighing in at 171 pounds. Fighting out of Phuket, Thailand, Brian Bad Boy Ebersole. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Mario Yamasaki.
Mario Yamasaki, our referee. The lovely Rochelle Leah with us tonight in Calgary. Ebersole and Head.
Let's go, come on.
And here we go. Meeting tonight at 170 inside the sold-out Scotiabank Saddledome. Good sprawl by James Head.
And Ebersole gives up his neck. Really does not worry about getting choked in this position. And it's a very rare thing indeed to watch this guy. I have talked to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts with tons of experience that don't get it. They see this guy and go, I don't know how he get out of the choke, my friend.
That's exactly how they sound, too.
That's what they say, man. He's a shocking cat. And Head on him, staying heavy, holding the sprawl, and lets him up.
Ebersole very active with his wrestling. He has attempted 25 takedowns in his 4 UFC fights. Also working his Muay Thai at the Tiger Muay Thai camp. You saw that he said he is fighting out of Thailand, so he has spent a lot of time overseas working his Muay Thai.
Powerful
but it's Head
shots by
opening
Head.
up early.
Nice right hand to the body and a nice knee as well. Good body kick by Ebersole.
Training in Phuket, Thailand. Head working at home in Oklahoma City. The southpaw Ebersole.
Ebersole uses that approach a lot. 1 hand up high, 1 hand down on the waist.
Nice knee. Joe, Brian Ebersole, one of the most unique and unorthodox fighters. There's an example right there that we have in the UFC today. Head very conventional, but effective in his attack. There we go. Body shot.
Oh!
And an elbow.
I'll tell you what, James Head looks like he's at least 1 weight class bigger than Brian Ebersole when they're in there. He is a thick 170-pounder.
And Brian Ebersole has talked about fighting at 155, Joe.
Well, he might be preparing to do that because he looks like he's lost muscle mass.
Goes the fist to the thigh.
He looks like a smaller version of the Brian Ebersole we first saw in Australia.
Yeah, he was somewhat preparing to make the move to 155 and then got the call from Joe Silva and offered to fight again coming off his win just a couple of weeks ago.
The left hand landed clean on Head's face. He hit him with a right to the body and then the left. Ebersole is just so unorthodox. Nice right hand.
And again, that punch to the leg.
Yeah, he does such weird stuff, he makes you think. He's famous for his cartwheel kick.
Stuffed.
Which is a rarely effective technique, but Ebersole's been known to knock people out with it.
Under 2 on the clock here in the first round. 11-fight winning streak for Brian Ebersole.
Ebersole trying very hard to complete this takedown. And Head going for it, going for the guillotine, and this is what we talked about. Look at this. He's got the perfect guillotine here. He doesn't have his hands connected.
And
look,
the thumbs up by Brian Ebersole.
I'm telling you.
And again.
And Head's not even trying anymore. He's just holding it. He doesn't have 2 hands connected. He just gave up on the technique. I think he did it, and then he went, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Can't choke this guy.
Well, you can't choke him, and he's never been stopped by strikes. Although James Head has put together some nice combinations here in the first round.
Oh, he's trying to pin his arm down. He's going to go for a Kimura. As Ebersole pins down that left arm, look out for his left arm. If his left arm goes over the shoulder, then you know what he's going for. I know he's pulling him off the cage.
20 wins by submission for Brian Ebersole, Joe.
Yeah, he has outstanding submission technique. I mean, to be a good submission artist, the most important thing is to have good defense. You know, that's Hicks and Gracie's rules of jiu-jitsu. Number one is defense.
His only loss in his last 16 fights came against Hector Lombard, who makes his UFC debut tonight. Ebersole's on top, big right
shot
hand
by Ebersole. It is one of the best tools that Ebersole has. There's the cartwheel kick. One of the best tools of Ebersole is that defense because he's so frustrating.
And again, he was pumping his fist to the crowd.
He's such an unusual guy. That comfort level that he has inside the octagon is just really unparalleled. And it's hard to replicate that. There's not a lot of guys who are that comfortable. Maybe Jeremy Horn might be one of the only other guys that's that comfortable while he's fighting.
Entertaining first round turned in by Head and Ebersole.
Get on my right shoulder.
Ebersole's corner.
Okay, breathe. Breathe and recover. Breathe and recover. Breathe and recover. Okay, job. Let's do our job. Let's do our job and not end up on the bottom. Yeah. You hear me? Okay. Just cage. Okay. Up and down. Let's stay awkward. Stay awkward. He's coming with that straight punch. He's coming with that straight punch. You stay awkward. Up and down. Look at that leg. Look at the single leg also. Okay. Do you want some more water? Okay. Good time.
Keep your distance. You got to. That's the key. Keep your distance. Drive it straight down the middle. Look for the. Keep on the jab. You get too close to the straight right. Got it? All right. Let's do it.
Give me a good deep breath, James. Give me a good deep breath. In the nose, out the mouth, James.
The most damaging shot in that first round, Mike, was a straight left hand by Ebersole. Head landed some good shots to the body, though, but I think that one left hand genuinely stung Head.
Ebersole likes to work in the clinch and has done a lot of damage utilizing the clinch in his 4 UFC fights. Again, he looks to shoot.
And again, he gives up his neck, and that's the weirdest thing about Ebersole is the fact that he's willing to do that because he doesn't believe he can get choked. I'd pay $1,000 to watch Brian Ebersole roll with Marcelo Garcia. Just to see if he gets choked. I want to see. I don't understand.
For you to say you're not even sure says something about Brian Ebersole.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume he would just because Marcelo's the master, but who the hell knows? I would like to get his neck MRI'd too.
Right, there you go.
See what's going on inside of there.
It certainly allows him to shoot with no caution.
Yeah, it's a very weird trait.
Not worried about giving it up, so he'll shoot with frequency.
He must have an awesome chiropractor.
Yes, indeed. Very busy as well.
James Head is controlling the center of the octagon here.
Head 5 for 5 with his takedown defense so far in this fight.
It was funny how Ebersole's corner was saying, stay awkward, as if he has any other way to fight.
It's kind of like saying, be yourself.
Yeah. There's
nice
a nice
straight
stretch,
left.
man. Very nice.
Of course, he and Chris Lido grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana, and that was the debut of Ebersole in a highly anticipated matchup against Chris Lido, because they were supposed to meet so many times on the local circuit and then did in Sydney, Australia. And Ebersole was as effective against Lytle as any of his opponents have been. Total strikes, slight advantage goes to Brian Ebersole at almost the midway point of this fight.
Ebersole right in front of us here has double underhooks. And let's see if he can drag this fight to the ground. He's very creative in his takedowns. Uses a lot of trips. A lot of misdirection. and look for him now that he's got head up against the cage and let him go.
Midway point of the fight.
Again, it's like karate chops his knee. Good left hook by Head.
Head really swinging now.
Ebersole lands a jab and taunts him, drops his hands, stands right in front of him.
Ebersole shoots
Here's
again.
A shot again. Again, just lets him, just gives up that neck. He's like, here, take it.
Ebersole uses that punch to the thigh in a way to set up a takedown, but he hasn't been successful yet. And he hasn't been able to mix it up so much, Joe, either, as you talked about. Oh, uppercut.
Nice uppercut. That was a good leg kick right before that by Head, though, that made Ebersole smile. Good impact. And in the way they're standing with Ebersole in the southpaw position, it really opens up that inside leg kick and the power kick with the right leg of Head, but to the body especially. But Head is reluctant to throw that technique. Probably because he's worried about the takedowns. Step in elbow by Ebersole. He's just so all kinds of awkward that Head just doesn't seem to know what to do with him. Nice knee by Head.
1 minute on the clock here in round 2.
Now Ebersole's on top. Head taking some big deep breaths. And Ebersole moves him slowly away from the cage to avoid the wall walk. Look for the elbows by Ebersole. Especially if he can clear the guard.
Those shoulder strikes from tight quarters here by Ebersole. And he likes to do a lot of damage in the clinch and on the ground in exchanges as we have right here.
Not doing much here, and he gets swept. Nicely done by James Head. Beautiful butterfly sweep.
Head very well rounded, solid here tonight. As we head to the third and final round.
Stand up, right. Your pants are falling down. Stand up, please. Come on. Right. Sit down. Okay. I want that takedown. I want that takedown. You hear me? You hear me? Look at me. We got to get on top of this kid and we got to posture over him, okay? We need to look at those underhooks and stop around and stand up. We need him on the cage. We got to drown him, okay? Let's push him, okay?
And here we see a nice straight left hand by Brian Ebersole. And there's a nice right jab. And here's the butterfly sweep by James Head. Caught Ebersole off guard. Very nicely done.
Brittany.
We got a full house of ring card girls
Yes,
tonight.
we do.
Logan Stanton's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Rochelle Leah returning.
You ready? Let's go, come on.
Third and final round. Head and Ebersole meeting tonight at 170 inside the sold-out Scotiabank Saddledome in Calgary. Again stuffed. James Head has stuffed 7 of 8 takedown attempts.
Good right hand by Head.
And the
good
kick
body
by
kick.
Ebersole. Trying to set it up again.
He sets it up so well, and there he goes. Very nicely done. Pulled guard, and Head spun around behind it. Nice. Head holding on to the front choke. Staying heavy on Ebersole. He's going to spin to his back. He may just decide to disengage here. And he does.
Under 4. Remains in this fight again. The one thing Ebersole is not doing, Joe, he's not faking with any punches, kicks.
No.
He's just shooting.
He's just trying to touch him, grab a hold of the legs, and then hopefully out-grapple him.
He's shooting to try to get the takedown, but with no setup and no feints. And Head has read them all perfectly.
Nice combination by Head and a nice knee to the body. Neither fighter has really established any significant control in this fight.
Yeah, I agree. The numbers are very close.
Nice knee by Head. Yeah, you got to wonder how those 2 rounds are scored. Nice right hand there, sneaky.
The inability to take down James Head for Brian Ebersole, as much a story as any.
He's got his back.
In this
Head's
battle.
going for the, look at this. Head's got his back. He gets both hooks in. And let's see if Ebersole can spin him. Ebersole trying to hit the switch, using that right arm to try to go, oh, and Head got out of there. Saw it coming, escaped.
Past the midway point of the 3rd and final round, another shot to the body and now to the head.
He's just like telegraphing that, winding up and throwing it, and Head's just standing there. There's the shot.
Sprawled again. It's not even like he's come close, Joe. Punches him from the knees.
But again, Head on top. You know, Head with a successful sprawl.
The takedown defense of James Head, outstanding.
And that's one of those things
tonight.
where it's like, what do you score more? Do you score the takedown attempts and the aggression of Ebersole more, or the defense of Head more? It's very subjective in those exchanges.
Under 90 now. That could very well be a determining factor in the eyes of the judges. Just over a minute left now.
And again, shoots the sprawls. James said, please just try a guillotine. Just for me. Just grab his neck. Come on, man.
Again, he tried to swing from his knees.
And Head spinning to the back again and lets him up again.
It's not like Brian Ebersole is driving through the hips in a Josh Koscheck fashion when looking for the takedown.
He's not really that type of fighter. He doesn't have that kind of explosion. Again,
and because of that,
touches him and
Head unable to be caught with a takedown.
Yeah. Oh, and Head tried to go for a Darce, or it looked like a gator roll.
20 seconds left.
That was
in this welterweight fight.
That was a big mistake, and that could cost him, because with 15 seconds to go, Ebersole might be able to finish him if he can get something tied up here. Oh, not enough time. He's gonna try.
They're gonna go the distance, Ebersole and Head. And now it is in the hands of the judges.
And a lot of boos, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at that again. And there's a takedown attempt. And there's some nice knees by Head and a nice elbow. There's a good straight right hand, followed up by a jab.
Brian Ebersole, James Head, go the distance. Ebersole has yet to be defeated inside the octagon. Will James Head be the first to do so?
He might very well. I mean, it's guesswork sometimes what the judges are seeing, but
Sorry, one time, I didn't make you nervous. I didn't get hit, but I didn't wrestle like good tonight.
Uriah Faber, Renan Barao, our main event later tonight for the interim bantamweight title. Hector Lombard, Tim Boach, in our co-main event of the night. Still to come from here at UFC 149.
That's terrible.
Sorry,
You
Joe.
go to 55? You go to 55? You go to 55?
These guys are big.
Brian Ebersole talking to Joe Rogan here, octagon side, as we await the judges' scorecards.
He has to borrow my double leg takedown, which is about 80 times worse than his.
I don't know what that says. I'll just stay out of that one.
Hello, Queensland. Hello, Bradley.
And with the official decision, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score this contest 29-28, Head. 29-28, Ebersole. And 29-28 for the winner by split decision, James Head.
James Head, the winner by split decision. He becomes the first man to defeat Brian Ebersole in his UFC career. Head goes to 2-0 at 170 pounds, earning the victory here tonight in beautiful Calgary, Alberta, Canada.